Crows, particularly New Caledonian crows, Corvus moneduloides, are renowned for their remarkable tool-making and problem-solving abilities, which rival those of some primates. Their capacity to craft tools, such as bending wires into hooks to retrieve food, demonstrates advanced cognitive skills including planning, foresight, and an understanding of cause and effect relationships. Below is a detailed explanation of how crows accomplish this, the cognitive mechanisms involved, and how their abilities compare to those of primates. 1. Crows and tool use. An overview. Crows belong to the corvid family, which includes ravens, magpies, and jays, a group known for exceptional intelligence. New Caledonian crows, native to the South Pacific Islands, are particularly adept at using and crafting tools in the wild and in experimental settings. Their tool use is not merely instinctual, but involves sophisticated problem-solving, learning, and innovation. In the wild, these crows fashion tools from materials like sticks, leaves, and pandanus, plant spines to extract grubs and insects from crevices in trees. In controlled experiments, they have demonstrated the ability to manipulate novel materials such as wires to create functional tools, showcasing their adaptability and cognitive flexibility. 2. The wire bending experiment, a landmark study. One of the most famous demonstrations of crow intelligence is the wire bending experiment conducted by researchers, notably Alex Koshelnik and colleagues at the University of Oxford in 2002, with a New Caledonian crow named Betty. Experimental setup task. Betty was presented with a small bucket containing food, placed at the bottom of a narrow, transparent tube. The only tool provided was a straightened piece of wire. Challenge: the wire, in its initial form, was not suitable for retrieving the bucket, as it could not hook the bucket's handle. Observation: Betty spontaneously bent the wire into a hook shape by wedging one end into a crevice or holding it with her beak, and then used the hooked wire to lift the bucket out of the tube. Key findings: spontaneous innovation. Betty had no prior training with wire and had not observed a wire-bending behavior. Her ability to modify the wire into a functional hook suggests an understanding of the tool's required properties, e.g., a hook shape to grasp the bucket. Problem solving. The task required Betty to recognize that the straight wire was inadequate, envision a solution, a hooked shape, and manipulate the material to achieve that solution. This indicates a high level of causal reasoning. Consistency. Betty repeated the wire-bending behavior in subsequent trials, showing that her actions were not random but purposeful and repeatable. This experiment highlighted that crows could solve novel problems using tools in ways previously thought to be exclusive to primates, such as chimpanzees. 3. How crows craft tools. Crows employ a combination of physical dexterity, cognitive insight, and learned behaviors to craft tools. Here's a detailed breakdown of the process, using the wire-bending example. A. Physical manipulation, beak dexterity. Crows use their beaks as highly precise instruments, capable of fine motor control. In the wire-bending task, Betty used her beak to bend the wire by pressing it against a surface or leveraging it in a crevice. This requires both strength and precision. Tool-material interaction. Crows assess the properties of the material they are working with, e.g., the flexibility of wire or the rigidity of a stick. They adjust their actions based on the material's physical properties, demonstrating an understanding of how to manipulate it effectively. B. Cognitive processes, causal reasoning. Crows appear to understand the relationship between the tool's shape and its function. In the wire-bending task, Betty recognized that a straight wire could not retrieve the bucket, but a hooked one could, indicating an ability to reason about cause and effect. Mental simulation. The act of bending the wire suggests that crows can mentally simulate the outcome of their actions. Betty likely visualized the hook shape as a solution before physically creating it, a form of foresight or planning. Problem solving. Flexibility. Crows adapt their approach based on the task. If one method fails, they try alternative strategies, such as bending the wire in different ways or using different parts of their environment to assist. C. Learning and culture, individual learning. While Betty's wire bending was spontaneous, crows can also learn through trial and error. They refine their techniques over time, improving efficiency, local transmission. In the wild, New Caledonian crows pass tool-making skills to their offspring through observation and imitation, a form of cultural transmission. For example, young crows watch adults craft pandanus leaf tools and replicate the behavior, suggesting a social learning component. 4. Cognitive abilities underlying tool use. Crows' tool-making abilities are underpinned by several advanced cognitive traits, many of which parallel those found in primates. Insight, the ability to solve problems without explicit training, as seen in Betty's wire bending, suggests insight or the ability to see the solution mentally before acting. Working memory, crafting a tool requires holding multiple pieces of information in mind, such as the goal, retrieve food, the tool's current state, straight wire, and the desired state, hooked wire. Planning, crows demonstrate sequential decision-making, such as choosing a stick of the right length or bending a wire at the correct angle, indicating they can plan multiple steps ahead. Analogical reasoning, by applying knowledge from one context, e.g., bending natural materials like twigs, to a novel context, e.g., bending wire. Crows show an ability to generalize and transfer skills. 5. Comparison to primates. Crows' tool-making and problem-solving abilities rival those of some primates, such as chimpanzees and orangutans, which are also known for sophisticated tool use. Here's how they compare. Similarities tool. Modification. Like chimpanzees, which strip leaves from branches to create termite fishing sticks, crows modify materials, e.g., bending wires or shaping pandanus leaves, to suit specific tasks. Problem solving. Both crows and primates can solve novel tasks without prior training. For example, chimpanzees have been observed stacking boxes to reach food, similar to crows' wire bending to access a bucket. Cultural transmission. Both groups pass tool use techniques to others. Chimpanzees teach their young to crack nuts with stones, while crows teach tool-making with natural materials. Foresight, both demonstrate planning, such as selecting tools in advance of a task. Crows have been shown to carry tools to a site where food is available, similar to primates preparing tools for future use. Differences. Brain structure. Primates have larger brains with a well-developed neocortex associated with complex cognition. Crows, despite smaller brains, achieve similar cognitive feats with a different brain architecture. The avian natopallium is analogous to the primate prefrontal cortex. Physical constraints. Primates use hands for precise manipulation, giving them an advantage in tasks requiring complex motor skills. Crows rely on their beaks and feet, which limits their dexterity but does not hinder their ability to innovate. Context of tool use. Primate tool use is often broader, encompassing social and defensive contexts, e.g., using sticks as weapons. Crow tool use is primarily focused on foraging, though they show flexibility in experimental settings. Evidence of comparable intelligence studies suggests that crows' cognitive abilities in tool use are on par with those of great apes in certain domains. For example, in a 2006 study, crows solved a trap tube task, where they had to push food out of a tube while avoiding a trap, a task also solved by chimpanzees. Crows have demonstrated meta-tool use, using one tool to access another, a skill previously thought unique to primates. For instance, they can use a short stick to retrieve a longer stick to access food. 6. Why are crows so skilled at tool use? Several factors contribute to crows' remarkable tool-making abilities. Evolutionary pressures. New Caledonian crows evolved in an environment with limited food resources, where accessing insects in tree crevices required innovative foraging techniques. Tool use likely conferred a survival advantage. Brain-to-body ratio, corvids have relatively large brains for their body size with a highly developed nidopallium, which supports complex cognition. Social structure. Crows live in social groups, which may facilitate learning and the spread of tool use behaviors. Neophilia. Crows are naturally curious and attracted to novel objects, which encourages experimentation and innovation. 7. Broader implications. The ability of crows to craft tools like hooks from wires has profound implications for understanding animal intelligence. Convergent evolution. Crows and primates evolved similar cognitive abilities independently, suggesting that complex problem-solving is not exclusive to mammals. Redefining intelligence. Crows challenge the notion that large brains or primate-like anatomy are prerequisites for advanced cognition. Applications. Studying crow intelligence can inform fields like artificial intelligence, where understanding flexible problem-solving could inspire algorithms for adaptive reasoning.